jouant au premier but, numéro 5, batting third, playing first base, number 5, Emily Volkman. Au quatrième, jouant au deuxième but, numéro 21, batting fourth, playing second base, number 21, Kennedy Buckman. Au cinquième rang, votre joueur de droite, numéro 8, batting fifth, right fielder, number 8, Amanda Lee. Au sixième, la joueuse désignée, numéro 10, batting sixth, designated player, number 10, Kaya Glickman. Au septième, Danicourt, numéro 15, batting 7, shortstop, number 7, number 15, Arizona Ritchie. Au huitième rang, receveur numéro 40, batting 8, catcher number 14, Rebecca Marcus. Au neuvième, joueur troisième but, numéro 3, batting 9, playing third base, number 3, Maddie Lewis. Position flex, lanceur partant numéro 25. In the flex position, starting pitcher, number 11, Kayla Justin. Les substituts, the alternates, numéro 7, number 7, A. Robin. Numéro 33, number 33, Anna Berger. Numéro 17, number 17, Morgan Tesser. Numéro 25, number 25, Pete Hotchall. Numéro 14, number 14, Riley Shubb. Numéro 27, number 27, Robin Rankler. Numéro 1, number 1, Ryan Rapp. Numéro 24, number 24, Shane Glass. Numéro 20, number 20, Sydney Silverstein. And numéro 40, number 41, Tara Vanderwater. Team Israel. Voici la présentation de l'équipe locale pour ce match. Here's the home team for this game. Team Greece. En première, votre joueur de gauche numéro 7, batting first, left fielder number 7, Molly Collender. Au deuxième rang, votre joueur de centre numéro 16, batting second, center fielder number 16, Georgia Polidoros. En troisième, joueur troisième but numéro 27, batting third, playing third base, number 27, Zoe Stavro. Avant quatrième, joueur premier but numéro 5, batting fourth, playing first base, number 5, Jana Want. Au cinquième rang, joueur deuxième but numéro 13, batting fifth, playing second base, number 13, Brianna Nikaza. Au sixième, joueuse désignée numéro 2, batting sixth, designated player, number 2, Julia Apostolakos. Au septième, votre joueur de droite numéro 20, batting 7, right fielder, number 20, Olivia Pess. Au huitième rang, receveur numéro 21, batting 8, catcher number 21, Nicole Patel. Au neuvième, Danicourt numéro 33, batting 9, shortstop number 33, Zoe Theodopoulos. Dans la position flex, lanceur numéro 23, in the flex position, pitching number 23, Kyle Vance. Les substituts des alternates, numéro 10, number 10, Kate Karamoussis. Numéro 9, number 9, Sydney Scapin. Numéro 1, number 1, Chelsea Runyon. Numéro 15, number 15, Maria Zepeda. Numéro 18, number 18, Amy Dornius. Numéro 17, number 17, Warren Stavros. Team Reese. Les arbitres pour ce match, the umpires for this game. Au marbre, à home plate, Adam McAlobey. Au premier but, at first base, James English. Au deuxième but, at second base, Nicolas Urgia. Et au troisième but, at third base, Jonas Christensen. Mesdames et messieurs, l'événement vous levez si vous en êtes capable de retirer chapeaux et casquettes pour les signes nationaux d'Israël et de la Grèce. Ladies and gentlemen, please now rise if you're able to remove your hats and caps for the national anthems of Israel and Greece.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to day number 1 of the Canada Cup of Softball, the 2023 edition. And our focus is on the women's international event. It began earlier today as Team Japan downing Australia's development team. Australia's number 1 team is right now getting set for a World Cup qualifying event that will begin in the next couple of days. In fact, it starts tomorrow in Dublin, Ireland, on the road to the World Cup next year in Italy. And today's game matches Team Israel against Team Greece as they will open the competition. You take a look at a couple of the fans from Greece, a team made up primarily of U.S.-born players with Greek citizenship, and Israel. Both of them, in recent years, Team Israel was tied for 5th at the 2022 Euro Championship with a record of 4-5, and they will bat first to open up this contest. Japan and Italy, and that will be a terrific, probably the highlight game of day number 1, will come at you next as we get set for the first pitch between these two countries. And just waiting for the official 1 o'clock start time, and here comes Team Greece out to the field. And their starting pitcher for the game today will be number 23. Her name is Kyla Betis. Greece finished in 7th place at the European Championships with a record of 7-3. But in the round robin, they ended up in a group that was not in contention to participate for the title.
L'attaque défensive de l'équipe de Grèce, defensive battery for Team Greece, receveur numéro 21, catcher number 21, Kyla Betis.
Behind the plate,
Numéro 2, starting pitcher number 2, Julia Apostolakos.
is Kyla Betts. And the starting pitcher, which is not necessarily down here, but she'll also be in the batting order. So listed on my sheet as the designated player. Her name is Julia Apostolakos. And she gets the call today for Team Greece on the mound. She is from Toms River, New Jersey, and a product of Donovan Catholic High School in that area. And we are set to begin with Eliana Gottlieb to lead things off for Team Israel and takes strike 1 from Apostolakis. I guess when your last name is Loubardias and you're half Greek yourself, you should probably be okay with some of those pronunciations. And missing just outside with what looked to be a drop away to Gottlieb. Just underway. Delighted to have you with us on a somewhat chilly, breezy Monday afternoon here in July. Temperatures cooling. It was a beautiful week here from all I understood. Leading up to today is this fabulous tournament that not only involves this particular division, the elite division, but there are so many young women and girls here competing in other divisions, including one of the real stories of the week, and that is the U19 team from Ukraine. And we don't need to spend a lot of time right now. We will call one of their games, in fact, tomorrow afternoon against the Aloha Breeze. But for them to be here and the generosity that has been shown in order to bring them to the area here in South Surrey, what is called Softball City, took about $65,000, and it was all in terms of donations. From all accounts, they're having a wonderful time as Apostolakis continues to work the game's opening batter, and Eliana Gottlieb will draw a first inning walk. So Israel has the leadoff batter on here in the top of the first inning, and that brings to the plate left fielder Ruby Saltzman. She's from Northridge, California, a product of West Texas A&M University. Ruby batted .400 in the 2022 European Championship and drives this ball down the line foul. Pitcher Julia Apostolakos was the 2022 New Jersey Softball Player of the Year. And her pitching numbers there, outstanding. She is committed to make her way to the University of South Florida, located in Tampa, an excellent Division I program. So just a youngster. And these two teams really, as they continue to try and grow their programs to compete better with some of the others, Apostolakis in that throw gets away. Handled the ground ball well off the bat of Salzman, but in an attempt, both the shortstop and the second base player making their way over, both covering, but the throw gets away. And Israel in good shape as they have the first two runners on base. And that brings to the plate for Team Israel Emily Valtman. She is from Newton, Ohio, and played this past season at Drake University, located in Des Moines, Iowa, where she was a second-team All-Mississippi Valley Conference player this past season, hit .302, and does not square to bunt. Even in the women's game, I find over the last number of years, it's turned into more of a power game. Not always the case, but in these situations in many years gone by, with my experience, would tell you that she might be asked to bunt and does try to lay one down right there. Not a sacrifice, but more of a bunt in terms of trying to earn her way on with a base hit. Valtman at Drake University, 10 doubles, 26 runs batted in, and also had 4 home runs. Had 22 in her career. But right now, looking to move the runners in Gottlieb and Salzman, who are on base facing Apostolakis with nobody out in the top of the first. And that paints the outside corner for strike number 3. And Apostolakis has her first strikeout of the Canada Cup.
Second base player number 21, Kennedy Buckman.
Kennedy Buckman is the batter, playing at second base. She's from New Prague, Minnesota. As all these players in this game primarily born in the United States, with relatives, have citizenship that allows them to play internationally for these respective countries. And a swing and a miss by Buckman, who had a great year at Augustana University, which is in Minnesota. In the air, grabbed by Apostolakis, and the runners scrambling back. So a nice recovery for Team Greece, and in particular, Apostolakis, who created a little of her own havoc when she threw a potential out into center field. But an opportunity now to get out of the jam here in the top of the first inning. Facing Amanda Light, a youngster committed to the University of Wisconsin and is a product of Greenwood Village, Colorado. Had a massive year at Cherry Creek High School up the middle, and this is a base hit. And Gottlieb will score the game's first hit and run. An RBI single that cashes in Eliana Gottlieb. And Team Israel breaks out on top by a count of 1-0. As you got to look back at the single, well delivered by the youngster up the middle. And Israel strikes first in the first game of 7 round-robin affairs that all 8 teams in the Women's International Division will play. And Team Israel still in business is Kaya Glickman from Los Angeles, California, looking to add to the Israel advantage. Change up from Apostolakis, the runner on the move, and will steal the bag. There's a throw from behind the plate. Just a little wide. Did well to collect it and get it away. And Israel now with 2 runners in scoring position. As Apostolakis trying to get Team Greece out of an early jam with less damage, and this should do the job, and it will. Israel a hit. They take advantage of a Greek error and lead it by 1 after a half inning. You are watching the Canada Cup of Softball on Softball Premier Television.
Coming to
Team Greece set to bat. Opening game, opening day of the Women's International Division. One of the premier women's softball tournaments on planet Earth. And Molly Colander leads things off for Team Greece. Facing Ava Justman, who gets the start for Team Israel. She's from Northridge, California, and delivers high for ball 1. Justman plays collegiately, and now she wants to chat with her catcher and get their sign straight. Justman plays at the University of Wisconsin. And was a member of Team Israel at the 2022 European Championships. pitched 10 1/3 innings in that event. And a good swing and a miss by Colander. She's playing in left field for Greece from Danville, California. At California Baptist University. Had a solid European championship for Greece. 8 hits in 22 official plate appearances. And the left fielder of Greece trying to get that team going here in the bottom half after Israel took advantage of a hit and an error to cash in with the game's first run. And a nice change that Colander was well in front of. This year at California Baptist, Molly Colander at .262 with 9 runs batted in, 3 doubles. Has batted at that school .281 in her career, and this one will be handled easily by Buckman over at second base, and there is one away. Center fielder Georgia Polidoris bats for Team Greece. She is from Houston, Texas. A youngster coming off a marvelous high school season at Lamar High School, where she batted .493. And Justman just missing inside. Polidorus, the center fielder, and there's the change again from Ava Justman, and it's a good one. We saw it in the first at-bat against Colander, and she has that going very well. Fouled. Staying alive on the 2-strike, 1-ball count is Polidorus. Wind blowing out here at Softball City as the pitch gets away from Team Israel's catcher. All teams in action today. A couple of them will play 2 games, and the changeup gets it done. Strikeout number 1 for Ava Justman. And there are 2 away. Is Zoe Stavru is the batter. She's from Long Beach, California. Collegiately has played at North Dakota State. Had an impressive European championship for Team Greece last year, where she hit .382, was 13 for 34. Had 4 multi-hit games for Team Greece, who finished 7th in the competition. And Justman reaches, and it's a 1-2-3 inning for Ava Justman and Team Israel as they lead Greece by a count of 1-0 after 1. Here in South Surrey, Softball City, the site of the 2023 Canada Cup.
Tackle numéro 4, shortstop number 15, Arizona Richie.
At George Washington, batted .306. Is Apostolakis missing just outside. Gave up a hit, committed an error on the way to Israel, striking first in the top half of the first. Arizona Richie's dad is in the George Washington Baseball Hall of Fame. As Richie trying to send it down the right field line, just went foul. And a nice diving try over at first base. By Jana Want. Change up from Apostolakis up and fouled back is some good swings by Arizona Richie. Her dad is the head baseball coach and in that school's Hall of Fame. Her mother, Kelly, was a member of that school's rowing team. So a lot of athleticism in the Richie family. Is Arizona trying to get the leadoff runner aboard, as was the case in the top of the first. And Apostolakis looking to settle in, and this will be very helpful. Richie grounds out to second to open the top of the second. Good positioning that time by Brianna Nakaza. And a chat and a visit. By the Greek head coach. One of their assistants and their pitching coach is a woman by the name of Shan McDonald. And I will get to a story certainly of my knowledge of Shan that goes all the way back to the year 1980 when she helped the Saskatoon Harmony Centers to the Canadian Senior Ladies title. Coach for 17 or 18 years at UNLV. Was a star collegiately back in the day at Texas A&M University, and Shan is now part of the Team Greece coaching staff. She was the head coach for Team China in the 2008 Olympics. So giving a wealth of knowledge to this Greek team. One out. And that pitch missing outside. when you attend these events, there always seems to be some late second changes in terms of roster information. And the catcher is the batter here. Team Israel with a 4-5 record at last year's European Championship. These are two teams with young rosters, and there's the second hit of the game for Team Israel. His drives this pitch on the inner half into right field. And with one out, Israel has a runner aboard. And brings to the plate Matty Lewis from Alameda, California. And the pitch gets away. And it'll give Merkus the opportunity to make her way easily over to second base. Already, for so many reasons, looking forward to the next game between reigning Olympic champion Japan, who are already in the win column here with a win over Australia's development team, and Italy, one of 6 participants at the Olympic Games qualifying. And they have brought an excellent roster here to Vancouver, because coming up in Italy in a couple of weeks' time, they, along with Canada and Japan, find themselves in the same qualifying group, trying to earn their way into next year's World Cup. And all of those teams participating in this event. So, chance for a scouting opportunity to get to know one another, and not that it won't mean a lot this week, but it will have even more implications as the WBSC has changed things. This ball well hit to right and then gets away from the outfielder. The wave is on, and they're going to send her. Throw to the plate, not in time. Matty Lewis goes to right, base hit, gets away from right fielder Olivia Pass. And Lewis comes all the way home, got the wave. There was no hesitation and was going to go around the catcher. And Israel in front by a count of 3-0. And a tough error that time for Olivia Pass. To the top of the order of Eliana Gottlieb, who walked and scored the first run of the game. She takes a look at the numbered signals, which she has adorned on her right wrist. A lot of different signal combinations. Teams use number systems. That has really evolved over the years. The bunt attempt in Stavru, unable to get there. Gave it a good run at third, but couldn't quite get there in the nick of time as Gottlieb elected to bunt. So Matty Lewis with a single that turned into a run. And Israel off and running here in their first appearance of this Canada Cup. Good pitch by Julia Apostolakos. The rise upstairs, and it was a good one to even the count at 2-2. And another base hit as Gottlieb flares this one into left center. Ball over the middle of the plate. She went with it, hit it where it was pitched, and singles into left center. And Israel rolling along nicely to open this game against European rival Greece. And a swing and a good one. Fouled back by Ruby Saltzman. Saltzman reached on a fielder's choice. In the first. That was part of the play where grounded back to the pitcher, Apostolakis, and her throw sailed over both the shortstop and second base players' heads into the outfield. Change up, popped in the air. The pitcher says, I'll take that. And Apostolakis does, but not before. Israel scores two more in the top of the second, and they lead 3-0 with Greece coming to bat in the second here at Softball City in Surrey, British Columbia. Ava Justman back to work in the circle for Team Israel, and
Israel leads 3-0.
her teammates have provided her with a 3-run cushion as she is set to pitch. Taking a look at the fans, understand the weekend for all the other divisions that got going here on Friday. There were also women's international exhibition games played. And crowds have been great. Ticket sales have been dynamite. The weather, I think, by and large, slated to be pretty good for the week. And it's a wonderful setting here in Softball City.
Who's the media will sign first baseman number 5, Jana Want.
Jana Want is the batter. Her first appearance. And Justman paints the inside corner for a strike. Want is a Canadian. She's from Stony Creek, Ontario. And just 17 years of age, played for the Whitby Eagles at the U17 Canadians last year, where she hit .381 with 6 runs batted in. She's also a product of the SoCal Athletics softball program and fights that Justman pitch off in on her hands as Justman gets ahead 1 ball and 2 strikes. Justman with a strikeout in her 1-2-3 bottom of the first. And make it strikeout number 2 of the afternoon for Ava Justman as the rise is effective. And Jana Want goes down swinging for Team Greece. Brianna Nakaza playing over at second base. And the change, and it's been arguably Ava's best pitch so far. Nakaza is from Chicago, Illinois. And the change held for a long time in hopes of a strike. Rebecca Merkis is the catcher. The 1-1 on its way, and that one finds the outside corner for strike number 2. Nikaza also plays collegiately at the University of Illinois, which is not in Chicago. It is in nearby Champaign. In the air, and this ball's going to carry with the wind, but not deep enough. There's Gottlieb back to track that one down. Carried a lot farther than I thought it was going to off the bat, but Gottlieb hauled it in. And there are 2 down for Team Greece in the bottom of the second inning. And Apostolakis not only pitches, you'll find her in the number 6 hole in the batting order. Trying to help her own cause, trailing by 3. There's a couple of Greek errors have been costly early in this game. Well out in front of the change. And remember, Apostolakis is just coming out of high school. Was an excellent hitter at Toms River, Donovan High School. Hit .518 there with 13 home runs and 54 runs batted in. Another reason that she was recruited and is signed on to participate at an excellent program, the University of South Florida. Change, stayed with it, in on the hands, and the count remains at 2-2 to the pitcher, Julia Apostolakis. Justman, no trouble. She's faced 6. She's sat down 6. Israel in command in the first game for both these teams at the Canada Cup after 2. Israel with a 3-0 advantage on Team Greece, a couple of European rivals. They both participated in the 2022 European Championship. And Israel in command, leading it 3-0 early against the youngster, Julia Apostolakis, just 18 years of age, right out of high school. And we'll see a lot of great young players in this event throughout the course of the week, with the championship game set for Sunday at 6 o'clock. Team Canada will make its tournament debut coming up this evening at 6 when they'll take on the Australian development team, who fell to Japan in their first game earlier today that opened the tournament. Swing and a miss for Emily Valtman. And she struck out in her first at-bat in the top of the first inning. Takes high. All these players, primarily in this game, all U.S. born, with relatives that allow them to participate internationally for their respective countries of heritage. Squares, but he'll pull it back and drives it well foul down the left field side. There's number 5, Emily Valtman, who's playing over at first base today for Team Israel. Apostolakis high and up, but misses. And it's a leadoff walk for Valtman to stop, or at least start, the top of inning number 3.
Second baseman number 21, Kennedy Buckman.
Kennedy Buckman is the batter. So the leadoff runner aboard on a walk, as Israel looking to expand on their lead. Their head coach is Nikki Palmer. And this almost eludes Nakaza. Fooled her maybe just a little, as thought she was going to have to climb the ladder and went up a little bit, but records the first out on the line out to second, and there's one down for Amanda Light. Light with an RBI single to cash in Israel's first run in the top half of the first. Change from Apostolakis, and the Greeks like that pitch. Not quite as pleased with the call. Light put up great numbers at Kent Denver High School and then at Cherry Creek to wrap things up in Greenwood Village, Colorado. On her way to Wisconsin, a 3-sport athlete, all-state in softball, basketball, and track and field. Impressive. Nice block behind the plate. And it keeps Valtman over at first base. Glad to have you with us, no matter where you're looking in on Softball Premier TV. Going to be really excited to have an analyst for many of the games with me this week. A longtime member of Team Italy. And Amanda Famo will join me for the next couple of games. And really have been looking forward for weeks to having an opportunity to work with her, get to know her, and frankly pick the softball brain of somebody who has done so much in the game and so much not for her own country, but the country of Italy. On 2 hops. That's not an easy play, but a good one by Brianna Nakaza. Handled that second short hop very well. And for the first time, Julia Pastelakos and Team Greece put up a 0. They'll come to bat looking to cut in to a 3-0 deficit on day 1 of softball's Canada Cup in South Surrey. One of the youngsters, and it's such a fabulous event for so many reasons, but this tournament, which has been a premier event going way, way back, here the great work of the committee led by Greg Tim, all the volunteers and all the games in all the different divisions, and this really is where a lot of softball dreams start. Having the opportunity to watch some of the world's best players with your own 2 eyes, in many cases get to meet them. Teams are holding clinics with youth teams here in the area during the course of the tournament, and what an impact that makes. And a swing and a miss from right fielder Olivia Pess, who leads things off for Greece in the bottom of the 3rd inning. She's 21 years of age. Olivia's from Seattle and a junior at Syracuse University. The changeup from Justman, who is only faced the minimum of 6 batters so far. Ava throwing a very, very good game against Greece to begin. And the changeup has been a big part and goes away with what looked from here to be a drop down. And great location is Ava Justman records her 3rd strikeout of the afternoon. Brings to the plate the Greek catcher, Nicole Kittel. In on the hands, and it's called foul. Excellent play that didn't have to be made as it turned out, but I think well worth another look. As Voltman, or make that Maddie Lewis, makes an excellent play. But called foul. Kittel the batter. Her first appearance at a Canada Cup, and will be given credit, I would think, there for the first base hit of the game for Team Greece off the bat of Nicole Kittel. So Greece has its first base runner and first hit, and just in a spot that eluded the middle infield of Israel. Change up and another dandy delivered by Justman for strike one with one out here in the bottom of the third. And Israel leading Greece in the opening game for both teams by a count of 3-0. Scored one in the first and added two more in the second. Zoe Milanopoulos, the shortstop, in the number 9 position. In the batting order is Zoe Milanopoulos out of Old Bridge High School. Head coach is Tony Foti of Team Greece. Been around the game for a long time in the United States, and now the head coach of Greece trying to build their program. And a chat now with Ava Justman, who has finally given up a hit, and it took 8 batters in order for Israel to be able to achieve that. So conversations with both staffs as Milanopoulos batted .322 at high school this past season. In 2022, she hit .560 at that same high school. And had a good rip at that. Justman has really done an excellent job working in and out on these hitters. Her location has been the strength, and the changeup has primarily been her out pitch. And a really good cut that time from the youngster Milanopoulos. As Milanopoulos continues to have a quality at-bat. Born in the year 2006. Just 17 years of age. She turned 17 on January 27th, and the change misses, and the count runs full. To Zoe Milanopoulos. Have talked about the change being the out pitch, and there it was one more time. An excellent at-bat for Milanopoulos, but goes down swinging on that changeup, and it's strikeout number 4 of the afternoon. For starting pitcher, Ava Justman. And we'll get a courtesy runner for the catcher. As Milanopoulos will stay in to run. With 2 out in the bottom of the third inning. Team Italy and Japan at 1-0 up next. And a pitching change for Israel. New pitcher in the game is Ava Justman with an excellent 2 2/3 that included giving up just 1 hit, and she struck out 4. And the new Team Israel pitcher is Robin Wampler. And she faces the top of the order, and Molly Colander, who popped out to the pitcher in the bottom of the first inning. Hard hit on one hop. Handled well. Inning over. So it only required 1 pitch for Wampler to come into the game and end the bottom of the third. It remains 3-0 Israel over Team Greece. Softball City in Surrey, British Columbia. Nothing like a little popcorn at the ballpark. Arizona Ritchie. Her second appearance of the day. Grounded out to second. This Milanopolis, and she throws a laser over to first. Great arm shown off by the young shortstop who just turned 17 early this year. Got it there in a hurry to take care of Israel's leadoff batter, who is Arizona Ritchie. This is the catcher, Rebecca Merkis. And Julia Postolakis has gone the whole way, another youngster. Facing Merkis for the second time. And you can just tell, be a lot of nerves. International competition, terrific stage. Juliet turned 19 in March. And the pitch just outside. She wanted that one, but a little wide to the catcher, Rebecca Merkis. And Merkis was able to score the second run. She came home on what was a single that turned into all 4 bases for Maddie Lewis. Four hits so far for Israel. Milanopolis, a spin, a turn. Impressive. Hard hit ball by Merkis up the middle. Spins and fires. Well done once again by Zoe Milanopolis. Nothing I enjoy much more in sports than watching young athletes grow and following their journeys. And I thought Milanopolis had a terrific at-bat, and she's followed it up with a couple of fine plays at shortstop in the top of the 4th inning. There's Maddie Lewis, who singled and came all the way around to score on a 3-base error by right fielder Olivia Pess to give Israel their current 3-0 advantage. Israel with 4 hits in the game. Greece has not helped its own cause by committing a couple of errors. And a walk drawn by Lewis, who's on base for the second time in the game. A single and a walk for Maddie Lewis. Eliana Gottlieb is 1 for 1. She's walked and she has scored today. He is Israel center fielder. Had a good rip at that, but foul. And the plan, really, when you think about it, for a lot of these teams trying to turn their programs into being more elite than they already are, is right now in a cycle of being really young, gaining some experience in all these different high-level international competitions and tournaments. And, you know, if you love this sport, what you really hope is that it finds its way back again on the Olympic calendar in Los Angeles in the year 2028. It is so important for this sport to be involved in the Olympics, from funding to recruiting. It makes all the difference in the world. It really does. So we went in this sport without women's Olympic softball from 2008. COVID almost interrupted the next try, which was played finally in the summer of 2021 in Japan. It will not be a part of the 2024 games next year in Paris, but many in the sport very, very hopeful, including myself, that it will return to the calendar in Los Angeles in 2028. As this ball is well driven, one hop to the wall off the bat of Eliana Gottlieb, who's having a great day. 2 for 2, has scored a run, and now has her first run batted in of the Canada Cup. She launched it in the gap in right center. Single, a double, a walk, and a run batted in for Gottlieb. And the lead for Israel grows to 4 as Gottlieb able to score Maddie Lewis on the RBI double. Quality play to range toward the bag at second by Gina Watt to end the inning. And Eliana Gottlieb double to the wall in right center has Greece trailing now by 4 on day 1 of the Canada Cup. Great work as always by Softball Premier Television, really establishing themselves in the softball streaming community. Had an opportunity to work with Luciano and his lovely wife a couple of weekends ago in Simcoe, Ontario at a men's tournament. And he does the work of about 16 people in terms of everything done on the production. Not an easy play and a good one for out number one as Polidorus robbed of a hit over at first base. As Emily Voltman knocked it down, able to recover for out number one of the bottom of the fourth. That'll go 3 unassisted. Robin Wampler with a change and a good one is back-to-back lefties. As Ava Justman, the starter for Israel, also left-handed. Wampler is from Berkeley, California, and went to college at UC San Diego. Was 4-3 at the European Championships last summer, where she pitched 34 1/3 innings. So really would be considered the ace of this Israel staff, and really wanted the changeup against Stavrou, who grounded out to the starting pitcher, Ava Justman, in her first at-bat. Stavrou played collegiately at North Dakota State. Even though she hails from Long Beach, California. She's played in a couple of European championships in both 2022 and 2019. That's the year her college career ended at North Dakota State, a member of the Bison. Batted .290 in her collegiate career with 113 runs batted in. 17 of those were home runs. 8 of those came in the year 2017. So Stavrou capable of going deep. And with the wind blowing out today, and it seems to be getting stronger, and as she just delivered what I talked about, not quite, as it takes Eliana Gottlieb over the fence. Just carried and carried, getting up in the wind. And Gottlieb's terrific afternoon continues. Reaching back over the wall to make the catch to take a home run away from Zoe Stavrou. As it really carried. So Gottlieb is 2 for 2. A double and a run batted in and a great catch, and there's a good one too. Amanda Light had to go a long way into foul territory. So Israel hitting well and defending equally as well on their way to a 4-0 advantage over Greece on day one of the Canada Cup. Eliana Gottlieb, a big factor as why Team Israel has a 4-0 advantage on Team Greece in the opening game for both teams. A pitching change now for Greece. Is Julia Apostolakos giving way to start this 5th inning. And 23 on my lineup card is Kyla Bettis, but we'll check through the roster just to make sure that that is indeed the case. Glad to bring you this Canada Cup on Softball Premier TV. And the pitcher is indeed Kyla Benz. Benz on one sheet, Bettis on the other. I'm going to go with Bettis. And her first pitch paints the outside corner for a strike. Israel in command in the opening game as Emily Voltman is the batter. She has struck out and walked today.
Also defensive substitution for Team Greece, batting second. Playing right field, number 15, Malia Zofeda.
And some changes being made in the game defensively as well. As the pitch by Bettis misses low to Voltman, who's from Newton, Iowa. Played at Drake University. This will carry, but not deep enough. Circling it and making the play. Out in center field for out number 1 is Georgia Polidorus. And Polidorus makes the routine play, and there's one out in the top of the 5th. And it looks like we might be in the midst of another change here late in the game. And Amanda Rodman looks like she's going to come in and bat here for the first time in the game. She's from San Roman, California. Played this past collegiate season. Thank you, Amanda. Papers all over the place. This Amanda, as in Rodman, played for the Pomona College Sage Hens this past season. Hit .321 with 13 runs batted in. Her first appearance, and fouls that down the third base side. Played in 41 games for Pomona College. Not exactly sure where San Roman, California is. But she is pinch hitting with one out in place of Kennedy Buckman. And a strikeout as the new pitcher. Kyla Bettis records her first, taking over from Julia Apostolakos. Amanda Light, who ended the last inning with a great running catch in foul territory, comes to the plate and takes ball 1, just missing high and a little outside, it would appear, from our fine broadcast vantage point. It's a good one here at Softball City. up and in on the rise in the inner half to even the count at 1-1. Light having a good start to the tournament. The youngster from Greenwood Village, Colorado. Played at Cherry Creek in her final year of high school, which is in Denver. If you like golf, a beautiful golf course at Cherry Creek. This is a monster high pop-up, and the right fielder calls off the second baseman to make the play. So a good outing for Kyla Bettis coming in for Team Greece, and they're looking for some offense as they head to bat in the bottom of the fifth. Brianna Nakaza to bat for Team Greece, looking to get on the board in the bottom of the fifth inning. It's 4-0 Israel in the first game for both these teams, as Robin Wampler continues to work in the circle, the ace of the Israeli staff. Nakaza. And she pops out for out number one as Buckman back defensively to make that play on the edge of the grass. Wampler has been perfect. She's faced 5 batters and has yet to allow anything. Apostolakis, who is the starting pitcher and the designated player, remains in the game to bat. Grounded out to the pitcher, who was Ava Justman at that point in time in the second inning. Great changeup. From Justman. Or make that Wampler. Justman also fashioned an excellent changeup. This is not going to be an easy play, but a good one. Is Arizona Ritchie. Makes a strong throw on that slow roller. Nice hands. Comes up and throws a strike over to first, and there's 2 down in the bottom of the fifth for Greece. And that is the bread and butter as well of the new pitcher, Robin Wampler. Facing Olivia Pess, who struck out against Ava Justman. Wampler comes back with a drop on the outside corner, swung on and missed. Both Team Israel pitchers have had excellent change of pace and good location. Always critical to pitching success. And they're right back to the change that missed inside. Gets away from Merkus, the catcher. Past 21 years of age. From nearby Seattle, so very likely to have family and friends in attendance here just a couple hours up the highway from Seattle, Washington. Plays all the way across the country, though. Just completed her 3rd season at Syracuse University in New York. Is Israel's head coach out to chat with Robin Wampler, Nikki Palmer, leading the troops here. And a walk drawn with 2 out by pass. First walk or base runner given up by Wampler, who entered the game with 2 out in the bottom of the 3rd. Nicole Rattel, the catcher for Greece, not on the original roster. Recently turned 19. Change up and pulled it just foul. As head coach Tony Foti says, good swing. The base runners pass on a walk with 2 out. And the batter, Rattel. And the pitcher and catcher want to discuss. Make sure they're on the same page as far as signs are concerned. Gives me time to get out the old person glasses. Oh, to be 19 again. I'd take 49 again, to be honest. Not really. No need to rewind when you're at a ballpark calling one of your favorite sports. There's a pretty good changeup. And a stolen base by Pass. There's all kinds of hesitation, thinking that maybe Wampler had delivered the 3rd strike. But the umpire said no. And that's what created the hesitation for Rebecca Merkus behind the plate. And Wampler with a strikeout on a good high rise ball. Her first strikeout since she entered the game. And it remains 4-0 Israel leading Greece after 5 in Surrey at beautiful Softball City. Making sure home plate is clean. Team Greece has yet to cross the plate. Israel has done so 4 times. Second game of the women's international competition. This year it is an 8-team event with some powerhouse countries. The leader of the field, Team Japan, finished second at last summer's World Games in Birmingham, Alabama. And another great showdown with softball's other powerhouse, the United States. Japan, the reigning Olympic champions. They won it in their home country in the summer of 2021, beating Team USA in the final. And Team Japan has brought their A-team to this one in preparation for World Cup stage qualifying. They'll be in a group with both Italy and Canada. That's, for my money, the toughest of the 3 qualifying groups looking to earn one of the 8 berths into next year's Softball World Cup in Italy. Lifted in the air. And Polidorus comes on to record the out. Kyla Benz coming in relief of Julia Apostolakos for Team Greece. Arizona Ritchie, the shortstop, is the batter. Strike 1 delivered to Ritchie. "22 years of age from Stafford, Virginia, is Arizona Ritchie. Batted .227 at last summer's European Championships. Also played in the 2021 European Championships. Transferred this past year from the University of Virginia to play where her dad, Greg, is the head baseball coach and a Hall of Fame member at that school. Baseball in Arizona. Up the middle. Ritchie with a base hit. A 1-out base hit for Arizona Ritchie. Goes the other way with that outside drop and sends it past the second base player into the outfield. And 1 out and 1 aboard. The 6th hit of the game for Team Israel. Rebecca Merkis, the catcher. Been on base twice, singled, and scored a run in the second. Facing Kyla Benz. Gets the sign and misses outside. Team Japan 1-0. Thanks to their victory in the tournament's first game, at least in this division. We have U19, Futures, Selects. It is a massive tournament. Here in Surrey and area, they're using 4 different facilities. There are 4 fabulous diamonds right here. One of the best facilities anywhere. In a great community that loves this game. As Merkis walks in behind the Ritchie hit. And Maddie Lewis, who delivered a key blow. And it looked like it was going to be just a single, but ball was misplayed in right field, and it turned into 2 more runs. She was able to score all the way from home on the air. Change over at shortstop, a double play attempt, as that is no longer Zoe Milanopoulos, who was very impressive over at shortstop earlier in the game. One of those defensive changes. Eve Bornius, number 18, now in at shortstop for Team Greece, and shoveled over to Nakaza for out number one, and they nearly made the double play to end the inning. The star of the game in so many ways is Eliana Gottlieb from Newport Beach, coming off her collegiate season at Oregon State University in Corvallis, Oregon. First time she'll be retired today. 2 hits, a walk, a double RBI, a run scored, and grounds out does Eliana Gottlieb to end the top of the 6th. Israel in command over Greece on day 1 of the Canada Cup. Eve Bornius will lead things off for Team Greece in the bottom of the 6th inning. Is time running out for Greece in their attempt to post a comeback. Bornius entered the game in the last inning defensively at shortstop. She's from Grosse Pointe, Michigan. Played at the University of South Sewanee for the Tigers. That's a school located in Mount Berg, Georgia. Her sister, an athlete too, also playing collegiate field hockey there. Eve Bornius. Change up from Wampler. And racing in to make the play is shortstop Arizona Ritchie. Look for just fraction of a second that it might fall, but Ritchie has had a strong game both at the plate and at short for Israel. Makes the play as Bornius pops out, and we're going to get another pitching change, so we'll see the third pitcher of the day. And this pitcher for Team Israel wears number 25.
Also in Lambu's hand in the right side, now pitching for Israel, number 25, Peyton Gottschall.
Peyton Gottschall. Again, another player that was not on the original rosters that came out a couple of weeks ago. Gottschall will turn 22 years old next month. And Peyton Gottschall enters the game. Ava Justman started, and then Robin Wampler, really the ace of the staff, coming in the third, and Wampler and Justman have combined to give up just 1 hit. is Molly Colander, the batter. The left fielder popped out to second and grounded out to second base in her 2 at-bats in the game. And Gottschall on the drop finds the inside corner to even the count at 1-1. And good velocity from Peyton Gottschall. Certainly the hardest thrower that we've seen in this game. And can't wait to see the pitching matchup in our next game between Japan and Italy. And in my estimation, one of truly the greatest women's softball pitchers of all time is part of Japan's roster. Yukiko Ueno, the 40-year-old, is here. And so is 22-year-old sensation Miyu Gato. And it sounds sarcastic, but it's very true. Almost no one can remember the last time Gato gave up a run in an international competition. The left-handed youngster, fabulous, really at her coming out party in many ways at the Olympics in Japan. And the ball ripped foul by Colander down the line. So Japan with a fabulous entry here as they prepare for a World Cup qualifier coming up in Italy later this month. Canada will be at that qualifier of 6 teams, so will Italy. And they're all here as part of a great 8-team field in Surrey. And we'll see 2 of those 3 teams squaring off in our next game, slated for 3:30, is Colander with a high fly to left. And there are 2 away as Peyton Gottschall has come on and done a nice job getting both Borneus. And then the pop out from Colander. And the new batter has a chat with Colander about what Gottschall has to offer. And she's working her first inning of this Canada Cup. This is not going to be an easy play, but Gottlieb takes about 5 or 6 steps as it hung up in the air. A 1-2-3 inning for Peyton Gottschall in Israel as we head to the 7th on day 1 of the Canada Cup. Top of the 7th, Israel with a 4-0 lead over Team Greece as Ruby Saltzman pops it foul against pitcher Kyla Benz, who came in for the youngster who started, Julia Pastelakos. Israel with 6 hits. They've made the most of them and also helped out by a couple of Team Greece errors early in the game. On the way to this 4-0 advantage, Eliana Gottlieb has had a terrific game with a couple of hits. She saved a home run in center field, reaching over the fence to haul in as Zoe Stavru. Home run attempt. Into the hole. Bornius juggles. And Salzman is aboard on what I would think would be scored an error on Bornius, who came into the game, and Salzman looking to take advantage, but apparently time had been called. But the head coach of Team Israel has other ideas, chatting with the first base umpire. And feeling like there was no need for time to be called as Salzman saw an opportunity and took it. And they actually score that a hit. So the first hit of the game for Ruby Salzman reached on a fielder's choice in the first and then grounded out to first base in her next at-bat. Both these teams very young. The 19 and 20-year-olds, certainly some veteran players for absolute sure on both these rosters with some quality international experience under their belt. For many, this is a first. Playing for a country of heritage rather than birth on both teams. And now all 4 umpires will get together to make a ruling on whether Salzman has to go back to first or remain at second after reaching on an infield hit. Nikki Palmer came out, the head coach of the team. Canada in action later. The home favorite here. They'll take on Australia. Australia falling in the tournament's first game in the women's division. Game that started at 10:30 this morning as they fell to the powerhouse, Team Japan, who are going to play their second game before Canada plays its first in our next game. Is this delay going on for quite a considerable amount of time in the 7th inning? Head coach Tony Foti, taking time to instruct his troops. Always good teachable moments for a young group in an international competition. And this is taking a considerable amount of time. And the ruling is, does she stay or have to go back? Coach Palmer not willing to give up the cause. Now Coach Foti comes over to check in on the conversation himself. And Salzman looks like she's on her way back. fact, she's out. So must have been called for a leadoff. And instead of being at second or even at first, she's out. Well, that was strange. Got on at first. There's a little delay. Went to second on what looked like was a scenario where time had been called. We're still chatting about this.
We would like to
Now the two coaches are interacting.
Protest committee on Diamond 1. Thank you.
Now the game's going to be played under protest as a result. Well, I've seen a lot of things watching this sport for a lifetime. I don't quite remember something like this. I've seen lots of protests over time, but not necessarily one of this nature. And if only I could read lips. Well, the fans, like myself, probably just hoping that we're going to continue to play. It is 4-0. I can tell you that it is 4-0, and I can tell you that Israel scored 1 in the first, added 2 more in the second. A big error in right field played a role in it. When Matty Lewis singled to right, the ball got away from Olivia Pess, and it turned into 2 runs in the second. Israel added 1 more in the fourth on a double by Eliana Gottlieb. And we're not going to play here for a few minutes until this protest comes to a conclusion. So I could bore you and fill all kinds of time, but I won't. We will take a break and be back with the ruling of the protest and hopefully the 7 here on Softball Premier TV. You're watching the Canada Cup. We are in the middle of a protest in the top of the 7th inning in Game 2. Israel with a 4-0 lead. Now, the best I can explain to you is this. The batter for Team Israel grounded out, or it looked like it might be a ground out to the shortstop. She was safe. Now, in the ball, going back toward the pitcher circle, when the ball is in the pitcher circle, you are not allowed to leave. If you hesitate, you are out. Salzman, the batter, made her way over to second. During that scenario, I wish we had it to show you. They talked about it for a long time. The call was made that she was out for the hesitation, or what in my vernacular would be for a leadoff, saying the ball was back in the circle. Coach Nikki Palmer of Israel, then put this game under protest with her team leading 4-0. And you can see, including chairman of this event, Greg Tim, in the middle of it, his head of umpiring, Roberto, down there from the WBSC. He's in the middle of it, and the whole situation is being explained. Now, I understand in part why it's happening. It might make a little more sense to me if it was 1-0 rather than 4-0. However, run differential can play a part when we get to the playoffs in deciding how things will play themselves out. The top 4 teams, after the round robin comes to a conclusion, will have a large advantage. They'll have 2 playoff lives rather than teams that finish 5-8 who will only be in must-win scenarios when we get to Saturday morning. That's when the playoffs begin, the 8-team round robin, all 8 teams playing 7 games apiece in this women's competition. And this has gone on for well over 10, closing in on 15 minutes now.
Now we play the waiting game.
A little Simpsons reference. Appropriate. Might have picked that up on the public address. Little Simpsons entertainment for you on a Monday afternoon. And we are still waiting. Again, you want to get every call right. I understand why Nikki Palmer has gone ahead and played the game now under protest. But I must share, I'd feel a lot differently about this situation, A, if I had a little better understanding of what I think is going on, which is about the base runner being called out on hesitation or lead off, because you cannot go once the ball is back into the pitcher's area, the circle. If your momentum has stopped in one way, you can't start again. You can't hesitate. And I think the runner's going to be at first base. rather than being called out, or is she going to second? That is originally what I thought was going to occur. So the committee has gotten together, the protest is over, and the game will continue. And now Kyla Benz requires, and for good reason, some warm-up pitches. Well, it's been quite an opening day broadcast, I must say that. And we are set. And resume with Emily Valtman, the batter. And Ruby Salzman, with one out, is the runner at first. And that ball is fouled back into the stands. Careful, folks. Really nice crowd forming for our next game, and it should be a dandy. I would suggest two of the potentially top four teams of the 8. Don't want to sell anybody short. And a base hit delivered by Emily Valtman to right field, and 2 on and only 1 out for Israel. Trying to throw the knockout punch here on the top of the 7th, although well on their way with a 4-0 advantage on a Greek team that has just 1 hit, having faced 3 different Israel pitchers. Kennedy Buckman, the batter, and takes a strike from Kyla Benz. On the ground, foul. Pass Coach Palmer, who put the game under protest and won the protest. Because originally the runner was called out. And that same runner, after a base hit, Ruby Salzman, finds herself at second. Nobody out, 2 on here in the 7th. On the ground for at least 1. And a double play. Step on the bag, throw across the diamond. 5 unassisted to 3 for the double play. Executed very, very nicely. And Greece with 2 out now in the top half of the inning. That's how you turn things around very quickly. Amanda Light is the batter. She's had a good day at the plate with a couple of base hits, number 8. And that finds the top of the strike zone for Kyla Benz. Zoe Stavros started the game at third base. She's now over at first. Number 27, Jana Want, moved over to third and just did an excellent job completing that double play. So they swap. This is trouble, but Bornius back to make an excellent catch. Eve Bornius, who replaced the starter at short, Zoe Milanopoulos, with a fine play to end the top of the 7th. Great catch over her head. Those are not easy. Excellent play. We'll go to the bottom of the 7th after maybe one of the longest half innings I can remember. It's 4-0 Israel. Team Israel with an opportunity to close it out. Excellent pitching performances in the game. Ava Justman was the starter. Robin Wampler took over. And then Peyton Gottschall came in the last inning. The first pitcher for Israel, who is a right-hander. Both Justman and Wampler pitching from the left side. Some more defensive changes in the game. Stavru is the batter and takes a strike from Peyton Gottschall. Who was impressive in her one inning of work. The changeup is down low to even the count at 1-1. Italy and Japan next in what I think is arguably the game of the day. On day one, Stavru. And an over-the-head catch in foul territory by Emily Voltman to record out number one. Well done. Gina Want started the game at first, now over at third. Team Greece would love to score at least a run. Gottschall not interested. Good velocity from Peyton Gottschall. Same spot, same result. Not an easy pitch to deal with. In on your hands, inside corner to the right-handed batter. Tie it right in a knot. Works the outside corner and perfectly. What a flawlessly executed three-pitch sequence by Peyton Gottschall. Two on the inside corner, and then painted the outside corner for her second strikeout. So Team Greece, down to their final out, have managed just one hit. Is Brianna Nakaza trying to keep their hopes alive in their first game here in South Surrey at Softball City. This week-long event underway, and it will produce some fantastic elite-level play before this tournament is all said and done. The likes of Japan, Italy, Canada, of course. TC Colorado, who always, Dave King puts great teams together. Dave King put together a team last year that came to the Canada Cup and beat the United States national team not once but twice before losing to them 5-1 in the final. And they would appear to have another excellent roster. And the roster that he put together in TC Colorado for last year, well, 3 members of that team are now on the U.S. women's national team. And their performance here didn't hurt. Israel feeling fine. Gottschall, the strikeout. 3 pitchers combined on a 1-hitter. And Israel scored 3 in the first 2 innings, add another, and they have opened the Canada Cup of softball with a victory over Greece by a count of 4-0. We'll be back at you from Softball City in about a half an hour when Italy opens its tournament against 1-0 Japan, the reigning Olympic women's softball champions. My name is Peter Lubardius. So long for now from South Surrey.
For Israel, 4 runs on 8 hits, or 7 runners left on base. For Greece, no runs on 1 hit.
For the latest in softball innovation, the website where you can experience the best tournaments in the Americas. Live games, news, tournaments, and much, much more. The best quality live softball, on demand so you can watch when you want. Become a Premier member now, softballpremiertv.com.